right, folks. Ahsoka episode 5 is here. This is the episode that they've been building up to, that has Hayden Christensen returning as Anakin Skywalker, the mentor to Ahsoka Tano. And he returns in this episode. I don't expect we're going to see him for the rest of the series. This is also the episode that they were so proud of that they decided to put it into theaters in I believe it was gophobo.com is the website that you're able to sign up to go to early screenings of films. And so a lot of people got to see this in a theater at around the exact same time that I could just sit in my living room and watch it on Disney Plus. Effectively, this is the continuation. This picks right up where last episode ended, and I have to admit, I actually enjoyed aspects of Ahsoka episode 4, with Baylan Skoll actually really being he's the one that is the all-star for that episode. He's the one that made it interesting. Ray Stevenson's performance as Baylan Skoll, and the high stakes that actually were at the center of that episode. Sabine looking like she's potentially joining the dark side. Is that happening? We'll see. Ahsoka just dispensed with, tossed into this sea, tossed away. The chips are down for everyone. This episode picks up right where the last one left off with, and they never clearly define if this is actually the world between worlds, which I still don't 100% understand what that is. It's effectively like, the way I understand it is, it's not time travel. It's not, you're able to get glimpses into other potential realities. So you're between other worlds, and if you can't necessarily change things, but you can see different, if other outcomes occurred, and correct me if I'm wrong, chat, other outcomes occurred, things would transpire differently. Okay. But you can't really change anything per se. It's something that was created, I guess, in Rebels. And a lot of people who are fans of Rebels and Clone Wars are over the moon about this, because effectively what Dave Filoni has done is recreated some key sequences from Clone Wars in live action, including a young Ahsoka played by, it's the same actress who played Gamora in
young
Infinity.
Gamora.
Yeah. What's that?
Young Gamora from Infinity War. Yeah.
Young Gamora from Infinity War. What's the name of the actress? Alan?
Jane Smith.
I'm pretty sure that's not the name of the actress, but Alan, if you could find it for us. I'm sure you. All right, I'm not going to put.
Really, we're gonna stop all this just so I can look at the name of the actress who is in.
Hera is basically, she's a rebel. She's disregarding the orders of the New Republic, and basically she's gone rogue. Hera's gone rogue with her son. Okay, that part I didn't really care about. The interesting part was the part with Anakin's interaction with Ahsoka, but we don't know about any of this if you're someone who hasn't seen all of Rebels and Clone Wars, you're not even aware that this relationship existed. For me, it's always, if it happened in the movies, that matters to me. If it didn't happen in the movies, I'm not sure how much I care. And the way I interpret what happened, Ahsoka effectively has a lightsaber duel with Anakin, effectively fighting for her life. Does she want to live, or will she die? Hera's son hears, can you hear the lightsabers? Can you hear the lightsabers? I don't see this. I don't interpret this as hearing actual lightsabers. I interpret this as he's able to listen to what is in Ahsoka's head. None of this actually happened. This is all a dream. It is, to me, the dumbest and laziest thing. It worked for the Wizard of Oz. Okay, Dorothy needed to learn a lesson. There's no place like home. She learned the lesson. Fine. Wizard of Oz all takes place in her brain. Okay, it was all a dream. Ahsoka episode 5 is all a dream, and Ahsoka remembering Anakin and remembering when she was a young Padawan during the Clone Wars. Uh, that's those are the broad strokes without getting into spoilers. We will pivot to spoilers momentarily after we get your comments. And Alan, I want to hear from you. But just my bottom line thoughts. I was very disappointed. This was the big build, and especially because the last episode, we've got 3 episodes that were very mid to, not great. The 4th episode got me interested. I actually cared, and in this one, it was just fan service to people who were fans of Rebels and Clone Wars, and sequences from the animation were recreated in live action. That's fine. Means nothing to me because I don't have that invested. I did like the actress who played young Ahsoka. I thought was very good. I thought that played very well.
Yeah.
That was
You mean
interesting.
Ariana Greenblatt?
Yes, Ariana Greenblatt was
In fact,
the actress.
she was the daughter in Barbie.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah.
So there you are. Anyways, I thought this episode was really disappointing. I think it's effectively all a dream. Anakin didn't return. Anakin returned in Ahsoka's head. And somehow Hera's son was able to hear or at least tap into what was happening. I don't know how long Ahsoka was under the water, but it seemed like a really, really long time. Is her species amphibious? Because they might have mentioned that. Or can she just hold her breath for a really, really long time? Is that headdress? Does she have oxygen? Are those an extra pair of amphibious lungs? Can someone explain this to me? I thought this episode was disappointing. The best parts of the episode, Hayden Christensen, just do a Darth Vader show.
I mean, they screwed up Obi-Wan, and now you want them to screw up Darth Vader.
Well, just have someone competent make it, which I don't know who that would be at this point. Alan, what did you think of Ahsoka episode 5? We'll get into spoilers in the second half of our discussion here. And I have some videos I'd like to show.
I should just point out that when you say, Alan, I want to hear what your thoughts are, that's my 5-minute mark to get my thoughts together. Look, let me address a couple things in the chat or comments from the last one. I did not like episode 4. There are only 2 bright spots: the potential that Sabine was going to turn to the dark side, and we pretty much know how that's going to end. She won't. And then B was the appearance of Anakin, because there's an interesting story that could be told at this moment. And so, but my qualification at the end of that was they're going to screw it up, and they did. Chris, let me ask you this question. When that from the beginning of seeing Anakin to the end of seeing Anakin, how much did Ahsoka Tano
Guzman
change?
writes if the room.
All right, what's next?
Guzman writes if.
Hello.
How much did she change?
Yeah, how much did she change?
Not much at all. That's the point. She comes out as, Ahsoka the White, like Gandalf the Gray going to Gandalf the. I mean,
yeah. What was the point? Look, he shows up. Sorry, we're gonna spoil it here because no one cares. He shows up and says, "I'm here to give you your final piece of training," and then he asks her the question, "Do you want to die? Do you want to live, or do you want to die?" Now, I mean, so what? What up until this point was this a question in Ahsoka Tano's mind that she wanted to live or die? Because I got no indication whatsoever in this series so far that she wanted to die. But that's the question posed. And then at the end of their little session there, she says, "I want to live." I mean, was there how is that not the answer from the very beginning? And then you go through this fight, which is cool. I'll say this about my feeling about the way this show is structured, the way stories are told, the way the narrative goes on, is that what we are getting are a series of memeable scenes that we could just throw out on the internet and say, "Hey, this was in Ahsoka." Hey, look, whales.
Right.
Look here, Anakin, he showed up. Look, they're fighting. I'm going to post it on the internet. And it's just a series of all these things you can post on the internet without any thought as to story. because the idea here is, at the beginning of a story, your hero is in a certain place in life, and at the end of the story, they're in a different place of life because of all the events that happened during that series, and that's not happening here. I had the misfortune of watching the documentary of Ahsoka after this episode,
Wait,
and
there
and
was
the thing,
one?
what?
There
It
was
was an
one?
8-minute documentary on Disney Plus of featuring the great Dave Filoni and how he was given the honor of doing the Ahsoka series. And I will say in the middle, Kathleen Kennedy says the great thing about Ahsoka is that you could just jump in and not have to have seen everything. Yes, Kathleen
That's
Kennedy. Kathleen
completely not
Kennedy.
true.
That's
That's part of
patently
the
not
big
true.
problem with this show.
Yeah,
Ugh.
but the thing is, the theme of this series is apprentice and master, master and apprentice. That's that's great, but that's not a series. There has to be some kind of conflict between the two. You know, uh, the great thing about this master and apprentice series right now is the apprentice is off with the bad guys. And now they're searching for him. And so, look, uh, my issue with Ahsoka from the very beginning is it's very weak, very bland storytelling, and we deserve better than this. We are people who the whole reason we're here is because we love stories, and for some reason, and this is not just Star Wars, this is Marvel, this is DC, this is current Hollywood storytelling, is that no one knows how to tell a good story anymore. No one what should be happening is Ahsoka, we should be able to connect with Ahsoka somehow, where she is in her life, why she is downtrodden, why she is depressed. And then we go on this journey that challenges her beliefs to the core. And at the end, she comes out a different person. And we're not getting that. We're just getting beautiful scenes of whales flying through space. And that's what this is. And I'm just tired. You know, it's like,
Juxtapose says you guys should cross your arms on your chest while talking about Ahsoka.
so I mean,
Yeah.
they look, you got Hayden Christensen, you got Anakin, and you wasted it. Because what was the point other than to bring up memories and create
Well,
memeable moments?
theory about Ahsoka. What if Disney purposely put in garbage time because they're secretly anticipating leasing it out to traditional cable companies, but need to stay quiet to feign confidence in Disney Plus's Ministry of Wrongthink for $9.99? Um, I don't know about that. I
Yeah.
feel like no one is trying to do a bad show. I just
Yeah.
feel that they're not leaning into the things that I think would be easily very popular. A Luke Skywalker show, a Darth Vader show,
Mhm.
reuniting Han, Luke, and Leia. These are such obvious things. I don't know why the people that are shepherding these franchises aren't really, giving the fans what they want. I feel like are they legally constrained? Do they have to give money to George Lucas if they somehow
Yeah.
go that road? I don't know. I don't know.
And
I
and
mean,
honestly, it might be money well spent, just giving Lucas more money to tell the right stories. Look, I,
exactly.
I looked at the numbers. So internet, the accuracy is questionable, but at its highest, Rebels, an episode of Rebels got 3 million views. Uh, at best, this movie the Ahsoka series cost $100 million to make. So you're talking basically $3.30 a person. That's a bad acquisition cost. Um, the $100 million for a series that only 3 million people saw. It sounds like a really bad business decision to me. And the least you could have done was, if you're trying to go for a broad audience, give us a clue who Ezra is. Yeah, we get it. We like him. He's a hero. But give us a clue. Why does Sabine care so much for this guy that she's willing to put
They they
the entire empire at risk for him?
they should have had flashbacks. They should have started with flashbacks or at least how Rebels ended.
Yeah.
They needed like an episode at least of the
Well,
backstory.
well,
Other,
let me
because I'm
clarify.
not in.
Yeah, let me clarify that for a second. Flashbacks. I don't care about flashbacks that need to retell the story of Rebels, but flashbacks at least to give us an idea of the relationships. Why is
Right.
Sabine so hung up on Ezra? Why is everyone so interested in getting Ezra back. Whatever happened
Right.
to Kanan, I guess that's his name. You know, give us flashbacks to establish these relationships, to establish who these people are. You don't need to give us the actual story.